Hello everyone, my name is Mihler. Shout out to the Nelly's Puerto Rican restaurant in Chicago.
It's the weekend, so we have the delicious buffet before us. I'm not getting it personally, but it's still delicious. I would have some of your oatmeal if you let me. I am Marcela.
Yeah, and
Adeze Okeke.
Miss Sama Onyaba, as you know. Yeah, my friend Marcela went to Tanzania, which is amazing, with 17 hours flight because I could never do that. I have not gone to Nigeria in a long time. So she went there for an artist residency, which is really inspiring. On your own, right?
Yeah, I went on my own.
I guess we're just going to talk about the kind of things you painted, your theme. Did you have like a specific theme?
Oh, dun, 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 dun. So my plan when I went there was to paint, but over the summer, right before I went there, I started making this large-scale puppet with my community organization, Redline Service. Actually, a little plug, the closing is tomorrow at the Chicago Cultural Center, because it's there right now. Anyway, I was just getting more into sculpture. And I got there, I tried to paint a little bit, and I really didn't like it. And then I was connected with this really popular sculptor over there. His name's Amon Majaliwa. Hi, Amon. And he taught me how to make sculptures out of cement, out of concrete. Yeah, so that's what I did for most of the time there, and it was really fun, and everyone I worked with was so cool. Shout out Dixon, shout out Wilson.
Do you ever, or have you noticed like a shift from paintings to like different kind of like mediums in the arts community? Because me personally, I started with painting, but now I'm trying to go into sewing, I'm trying to go into sculpture.
Right, yeah,
so I'm like, is painting dying or something?
But actually, I should only speak for myself. So I started with painting. I want to be the most like realistic, spiritually connected painter there ever was. And then I made this painting. It was in the show we had together. It's the 6-foot one that's long. Yeah, the one with me and my dad lying on the bed. Yeah. And that kind of broke me. That painting, like that shit. I got very frustrated while I was doing it. I had a hard time sleeping. And now whenever I paint, I think I'm like afraid that I'll get back into that place sometimes. So I'll paint for fun now, now I paint and I go about it in a different way where I'm not that interested in being super realistic. My work isn't really complete. Like I never want to make something super like, oh my gosh, and it's like, but then there's this part of me that thinks I'm supposed to, so then I think that I want to, but then I don't want to, and then I'm like fighting in my head with it. So now I don't do that as much, and I think sculpture also helped me paint differently. Now I'm really into drawing with graphite, like with the shading it adds dimension in a way that reminds me of sculpture, because it's, if you use gray, it's like one color, but you're trying to make, so.
And people say art is a way of life. Art gives you peace of mind, but you see, like people are really even toxic with art. I guess that kind of thing.
When art is something that you do as a distraction from what you're supposed to do, that's when art is at its peak. But when you have to do it because you're supposed to, like what you were saying with your art practice, like you don't have school or anything, so now you're just supposed to make art on your own terms. For me, that's when it gets tricky. But so yeah, because I have a few art shows coming up, so now I really love to write. I'm writing all the time. It's like my passion. It's because I have no deadline for writing. You know what I mean? And I feel like when I was in school or when I had like a job that was more time consuming, then art was the thing that I did for release. But now, like these days, art's kind of the main thing I have to do. Like people are expecting more work from me. And I'm like, what if I I was doing something else right now and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's really cool. Did you train yourself to learn to write, or like what are your main themes in writing?
I'm technically self-taught in both, like in painting or visual arts and with writing stuff. I write poetry and I write plays, and the themes that I work with in my visual art are the same in my writing. I work a lot with ideas of passage, what happens between here and there, and in different things, like how do we get from disruption to peace, or adolescence as passage, or rites of passage, growing up in general. Stuff where like something changes, and sometimes even irreversibly. That's what like interests me, because I don't know if I actually think anything is irreversible. I think we're taught a lot of that. When you're young, this is when you have to shine, because when you're old, you're gonna get ugly and you won't be able to learn new things. I don't think that's true, and I think there's like way more plasticity, and science is even proving that. That's like the overarching theme I work with in my work. But I don't know if you even see that in my actual stuff, because with my paintings, you just see people sleeping. Yeah, in most of my paintings, people are sleeping, or they're flying, or stuff like that. But it's this idea that on the surface it looks like this thing, but it's all the things that go on during that action. You know, kind of, yeah. A little bit like that, a little bit like that.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel so guilty that I'm interrupting your food.
No, ask me a really long question and I'll eat this.
Okay, what's a really, really long question? I don't know why I sense like you have your heart more connected into writing than into painting. And painting can be like a false representation of who you're meant to be, or it's more understood. It's just more understood by the public or something like that, easily understood.
I think there's also this thing where we always assume someone has to be one thing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I feel like we assume that you have to be one thing all the time. And I do this in my head all the time where I'm like, I don't want to be this anymore. I want to be that. I want to be a doctor now. I want to heal people. I want to make a community building in Chicago. I could do all the things.
Yeah, you can do anything you want, but like we have to have our minds straight. Like,
But why?
why, right?
Yeah.
You can freeze. You understand?
Yeah, I'm freezing. I'm frozen right now.
You can actually freeze if you overwhelm yourself.
That's so true, yeah.
Because everyone can be gifted, but like you have to really stay put in what you want to do to actually succeed. But like, what is success defined by?
Yeah.
What do you define success as?
I know, and I think that's what I'm figuring out these days as an adult now, officially. I cannot deny it any longer. I have debts. I have bills to pay. I cannot keep running from it. And so I'm like, what is success? Is it just monetary? Can it just be monetary? Will I be happy if I just make money? And I feel like I won't. I'm also wondering if I would be happy if I was just famous for art. And I think I wouldn't either.
Really?
So this is what I really think about this.
Okay.
I thought about this recently. So Marcy, that's my nickname. I'm Marcy. Marcy's the successful artist. What's a art city? Like New York City, right? Or London, or Lagos, like one of those, right? Yeah, so I'm in one of those places and I'm like a top artist. One thing that I think would eat at me is like if I really care about fame, is that art fame really isn't fame.
I think it's comfortable fame.
Yeah, it is. But like if I that's the thing, it's like, oh, but you're asking me what success is. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think success is fame. Because I think if it was fame and I became this like famous artist, like fame in the arts, it's not necessarily because of what you do, but it's people seeing you do it. So it's more about your image. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you already know I hate social media, so it's like not something that I really want to like dive into.
Yeah, everyone wants to be appreciated.
Appreciated. That's deep. I think it's that. I think maybe that has to do with success, and I think that's why like sometimes we think it's gonna be fame because we're like, okay, when you're famous, you're adored.
There's so many things that comes with being an artist. I don't want to be used for anything negative, you know. How can you sustain yourself in art when it's so unpredictable?
Beats me. So like everyone is getting doged right now. I saw this meme that was like, the job market is so bad I started following my dreams. It's so tough. It's funny because now like everyone's living the artist life these days.
Everyone's an artist.
These days what college is for, it's just to go to grad school. Because it's like, that's the thing, like the most money I ever made was in college, getting my refund. It's like, that's like how you make money is staying in school. Because the institutions have so much money in their endowments. This is becoming some tea.
I need to work in school. I think I need to work in school.
That's why they become professors.
Yeah, that's true. This is just like random talks. Whatever you hear here, hope you gain understanding somehow. And I need to let her go because she has to finish her food as well. Once again, Mesama Onyaba, Marcela, okay?
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and follow your dreams. Hashtag dab.